Hey there crafty friends, it's Annie from Vintage Lace Journal and I'm here today with a one-page wonder. Now I haven't done one of these in a long time, but I saw a lovely lady on Facebook called Vintage Journal, and she made this lovely kind of like little pocket, like a full pocket from a page of A4 paper, and I thought that was really lovely. So I will link her little channel below on Facebook to give credit where credit's due, but I thought I'd show you and bring you along the process to make it. So all I've done here is I've taken a piece of 12 by 12 card. So this card is, I think it's 210 GSM, and I've cut it down to A4, kind of like letter size. It doesn't really matter. So that measures 30 centimetres by 21 centimetres roughly. So all you do is you get your piece of paper, and I want this on the outside, so I'm going to turn this over to have this on the inside, and I'm going to fold this into thirds. Now you can score if you want to, or you can just roughly kind of bring it over. It doesn't really matter if it's not exact. So when you've roughly got, you just don't want this bit overlapping this side here. So I roughly want that one there. So I'm just going to bring that one in and fold with that good crease. And then bring this one over as well. And again crease, and give that a really nice crease on those edges. Okay, so there we have the basis for our kind of pocket. So open this back out again, and where you've got these score lines here, you're now going to fold the corner in, but you don't, well, you can have a pointy corner here if you want to, or you can leave roughly I don't know, a centimetre, a couple of centimetres. It's not really easy to see on this paper, I know, but I'm just going to bring that in straight, and then again fold that across. So if I just bring this up to the camera, where I've made that fold, I've got a tiny little gap there. It doesn't matter, it's just when you fold this, if you have a gap, you'll have a straight line here. If you don't, it'll be a pointy end. And I'm just going to do exactly the same on the other side. So that's where my fold is. I'm going to put that on my line of my mat, and then just bring that in like so. And again, give that a crease. Now these two bits are going to be glued down. So I'm just using a wet glue on those corners and bring that down. And this also, if you're using a thinner paper, will strengthen your kind of top parts of your pocket. Not quite sure that's very straight, but there we go. And then again, just gluing that part shut. Okay, so we have kind of like a house shape. Okay, now the next thing I'm going to do is obviously bring these pins back in. Okay, and I'm not going to glue this bit down just yet, because what I'm going to do next is I'm going to fold this piece up like so. Now you will get a disalignment here of the papers, because there's obviously 3 pieces of paper that you're now folding, and they won't fold together. So I'm going to roughly fold up to there. I want to cover this join where that sits here. So I'm going to bring that up to about there. Okay, and again, give that a real good burnish. And then what I'm going to do, as that's folded, and you can see there's that little bit just of overhang, I'm just going to trim that so it's nice and straight again. And that's obviously considered where the paper's just bunched up together. Okay, so now that has got no overlapping. Okay. So the last thing I'm going to do is, I don't want, you can have multi-pockets here now. So this together will make a pocket here, but you could also have another pocket here, or another 2 pockets here. I don't want all these pockets. You could do, you could glue this down, you could make this a flat. There's lots of different things you can do with this once you've got the basis of it. I'm going to make this a flap. So I want to glue basically all these pieces together. Before I do that, I'm going to take a notch out of there. Otherwise you'll cut and then glue and then cut, and obviously get glue all in your punch. So that's made my little pocket. So I'm just going to open this up And like I said, just glue all these bits down. So first of all, I'm going to glue the left hand side to the bottom part there, and then I'm just going to glue this bit on top of here. But once you make this, you can see and you can decide yourself if you want to keep more pockets, less pockets. It's up to you. Okay, so that's all nicely glued together. And while I'm here, I'm just going to glue this little part down here as well. You don't need to glue the inside of this pocket because this is now going to fold up and become the base. Just going to make sure this is all held. Okay. So obviously the last thing I now need to do is to bring this pocket up, and I'm going to ink that there. What I should have actually done, what I'm now going to go and do, is ink my edges. This is just distress ink. So I'm just going to come along and ink these edges. Glue's not quite taken out, just pull that bit forward. Yeah, so don't do as I do, do as I say, ink before you stick. And if it's okay, if you don't want to ink, don't ink at all. We could use a different colour ink. This would lend itself to any theme if you've got any different themed papers. This is just scrapbook paper, the pad I'm trying to use up. So the last thing I'm going to ink is just this edge at the front. There, a little awkward fiddly bit around the edge, and there we have it. Obviously if you want to go and do the back you can. There we go. So once that's all linked and you're happy with that, the last place you're going to glue is your flap up here. I'm just going to bring this back down. So I'm going to come in with my glue. I'm just going to re-glue this because it's where I just pulled it to ink, it's just come unstuck. So down this side here and down this side here. And then just bring that up. Now because I've used 210 GSM card, that's quite thick there. So I am just going to just keep rubbing that just to make sure that sticks and just holding it. So what I'm going to decorate this with is I have got a kit from Junk Journal Studio, and this is called Labels from Days Gone By, Volume 2. And there's absolutely loads of labels in here. So I've had a lovely little time of cutting some of these. And these all kind of link in with the colours that I'm doing on my project. So they come in sheets. And obviously you just cut out what you want. These ones are brilliant because they're 2-inch, so I've just punched those out with my 2-inch punch. These ones are 1-inch, I've got a 1-inch punch. These ones are 1.5-inch, I don't have 1.5-inch punch. But there's lots of different size labels in there, from nice big ones like this and down to smaller ones such as this. Okay, and I've printed these on a very light card weight stock, so I'm going to use that to decorate this. Now what I've done, as I've done this before, is I had a load of the labels and I created a masterboard. This is my prototype, by the way. I created a masterboard, which means you get a piece of card or paper and you stick all the labels on top and then you cut them out. So it ends up looking like this. So I've just made a masterboard, pop that in there. That's going to be a little journaling card in there. What I might actually do for the top of this, which you can do with your labels, is this is another label I've cut out. It's got that nice kind of like slant on the sides. I'm going to actually turn this into a tab. So if you ever have anything like this, don't just think you have to use it for as a label. You could obviously change the way you use these. So I folded that in half and I'm going to glue the whole back of that, because you want it to stick both sides on your card as well as the bit that doesn't stick. So then obviously bring that in there and then glue that over onto there. and that creates a perfect little tab. Let me come along and just ink that so it matches the card. And there we go. So once you put that in your pocket, it doesn't get lost. You have that little tab that you can obviously then pull that out with. With the same masterboard, I've just inked a little tag and I've popped that in that section in there. And then I'm going to decorate the front of this bit here. I've got this nice lace I might put just along the bottom there. I finally bought myself some fabric glue. So I haven't had any. Not sure it makes much difference. I've just been using tacky glue, but the Works had this for £2 and it's fabric glue, so I thought give it a go. So where that's going to sit at the bottom, just come along with the fabric glue, just smush it around. So, and then just pop that bit of lace on top. Looks quite nice. This lace was also from the Works for £1. So if you're UK, get yourself to the Works. Got quite a lot of nice stuff in there at the moment. Okay, so then I've got some more of these labels. I'm just going to label up, and this is where you just make it your own. You know what you want to put where. Some things might be too big, so obviously put something smaller. I might actually come over the lace for this. It's a bit too big as well, but I might put that one in there. And I like to layer my labels up. Put another one to the side there. Put that there. This is my brain. I'll now start fiddling. I can put that over the lace. That might be quite nice. And just have that there. Just going to ink around the edge of that. Quite like that there. Pop that in that corner there. I'm going to put that above the lace. I'm going to just need to hold that for a minute. I think I might leave that like that, otherwise I'll end up putting way too much stuff on it. Try and put like a little engaged. I had another small 1 centimetre one and I can't find it now. Aha. So I've got these little ones. Pop that on there. And what I will come back and do is come on with my hot glue gun, because trying to stick this onto fabric isn't really working. So I'll just hot glue gun those on so they'll stick. And then the last thing I'm going to do is just pop some more of those little labels behind here. And there we go. So one sheet wonder with a pocket decorated with labels from the Junk Doll Studio. This is called Days Gone By. I'll link this below as well. But it's simple, it's easy to make, and obviously you can attach this with a paper clip to your project. You might want to use a little bulldog clip to put it in your pages. I've got my journal here that I've been doing some work on. So you could actually make on the back page of this, that could actually be stuck on there as a whole new back page from my pocket. So I did the front one where I made a little lift flap. That's on one of my videos. Yeah, I might actually stick that. I might actually stick it on the back. Ooh, choices, choices. There we go, nice and easy. One sheet wonder, multi-pocket. Have a go. Take care, crafty friends, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.